Hey Bengal, come out of your house. Let's make a video.
Hey, it's Scotty and I'm with Bengal, and we're going to talk about guinea pig houses. I'm not talking about the cage, I'm talking about their hideys, their hides, their houses, their huts, whatever you want to call them. That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about those little houses that they sleep in, that they hide in, those things that make them feel safe and comfortable. Bengal, he loves his Piggy's Choice corner space-saving house, and we've got that to look at. We've got a number of different houses and house styles to choose from, so I'm going to talk about each one and why I like them. And no, you don't have to spend a lot of money. There are hideys that are in every different price range, and there's even some that don't cost anything. So we're going to talk about that. So let's do it.
This is the Piggy's Choice corner house. It's the corner space house. Sometimes it's called the space house. Saskia, the director of the LA Guinea Pig Rescue, designed this, and it's really a wonderful house. Piggies love it. You might see piggies on social media all around the world with this house. It comes in a bunch of different colors and many different options to choose from. There will be a link to the corner house in the description. Many of the links below in the description are affiliate links. Clicking on those links helps me and the piggies. It doesn't add any extra cost to you, so I hope you'll consider doing that. So here are two really interesting options. This is the Black Paw, White Paw Creations house. It fits together with these little slats. It's got cool little windows, and I believe it's like laser cut or something. They have a really cool shop. There will be a link to their shop in the description below also. And this is a really gorgeous Lucy's Cozies. This is like a hidey house. It's like a soft kind of, it's a fleece inside, and it's this really interesting fabric. So that is a nice option also to spoil your piggies. Before we get too deep in this house conversation, let's talk a minute about maximizing your cage space, especially if you have the minimum size like a Midwest. You don't want to clutter with too many houses. So I do have a video called how to maximize your cage space. I'll put that right here. But one of the things that you want to think about is making sure that your piggies have enough space to run. That's why the corner house is nice. That's why I also like the Fiddlesticks tunnel. So let's look at that. Hi Fuzz. Hi Fizz. So these boys are in a 2x4. This is a cavi cage. And so let's look at these wooden tunnels. This one is the Fiddlesticks tunnel, and you can see I've got a fleece over top of it. Sometimes piggies like to hop up and sit up there, and you don't need a fleece, but a lot of times they'll sit up there and they'll pee and they'll poop up there, and it gets really gross. So I found putting a fleece on top of the tunnel makes it super comfortable for them. Another thing to think about is the way it's laid out. I love the tunnels because it offers a feeling of a house, a sense of security, but it also has an entrance and an exit. Unlike the corner house, which only has one way in and one way out, this is a tunnel. There's two ways. There's an entrance and an exit, you know, and so piggies can run through. And so what I want to impress upon you here is that if your piggy can run all the way around their entire footprint of their cage. There's many ways to lay it out. You can put it here like this. You can put it in the middle. What I wouldn't recommend doing with a Fiddlesticks is doing it like this, because then it's a dead end and you might as well just have a corner house, which can be fine. It really depends on what the bond dynamics are with your piggies. But in general, I like to have it either like this so that there's You see how they can go on this side, they can go on this side, they can go like this, or maybe like this with a space in between. We don't want to interrupt the flow. That's the main thing that you want to consider when you are setting up your houses, that you've got the maximum amount of cage space and running space for your piggies, especially if they are in less than 10 square feet. If your piggies live in a Midwest or a 2x3, this kind of strategy, this kind of maximizing cage space is absolutely crucial, and that's why I would recommend for a smaller cage like a Midwest, getting a tunnel, a fiddlesticks tunnel or a wooden tunnel is a great option. Piggies, they don't need an armored fortress. They don't need, what do you call, like a doomsday bunker. They just need something to feel safe in. So this one's the fiddlesticks. This one's another wooden type tunnel, and there will be links, affiliate links, and clicking on those links helps me to make videos like this and to do all the volunteer rescue and fostering work that I do, and to help sponsor these videos, to make these videos to teach proper care. All right, so let's talk about igloos. These plastic igloos are not my first choice. In fact, I made a video a while back about why I hate them, why I don't like using them. But there is a place for them. They're convenient to use because they are light, they are pretty easy to clean, and they will last a really long time. But what I don't like about them is you see these air holes, they're not really enough. You know, so if you're going to use one of these, you want to make sure that your piggies are on fleece and that you're changing that fleece out every day, because the pee that soaks up into the fleece, it can really cause, you know, bad fumes. But if you are changing this fleece pad out, that's what I do, is I put a special fleece pad over top of the main fleece, and I change this out every day, and that keeps them dry. It keeps the air from getting stuffy and stale in there. And of course, the bigger the igloo, the better. But they're fine. They're relatively inexpensive. They look kind of cool, but definitely not my first choice. I think that a wood house is going to absorb some of that moisture in the air a little bit better, and many of the wood houses just have better airflow. But something to be careful of, something to think about when you're looking at a plastic igloo. So do guinea pigs need a house? Well, yes and no. Do they need a traditional hidey house? No, but they need some place to feel safe. Now you can see that this setup has a loft, and under the loft there's a nice little area where they like to hang out. Now, because this is only a 2x3, yes, there's this big long run and this mezzanine up here, so they have lots of space, lots of running space. But I didn't want it to be too cramped down here, and there's no real reason for there to be a house when this basically gives them that cover. They also like to sit under the bridge here, and they can squeeze under the ramp. There's just a lot of places for them to go under and feel secure. Now, the way I've got these grids bent into a little racetrack here, if you cover it, now sometimes I just have fleece sitting here stacked up waiting to go somewhere, and a lot of times my piggies, they really like to just sit underneath it. So a lot of times they will just sit underneath the fleece. If I leave a piece of fleece here like this, and they feel cozy, they don't need a traditional house in every location. Here's another example. These boys under the mezzanine, they like to hang out, and so I didn't think that they really needed a house. I removed the houses and the tunnels because I wanted to give them as much running space as possible, especially since they're newly bonded and Patches is a rambunctious boy. I feel very confident about the security of their bond now, but I still want them to have as much running space as possible. So they love to hang out under here and they feel safe. And so this works like a house with still allowing a lot of running space for these boys because Patches loves to run. He loves to popcorn and play. And so I want to give them as much running space as possible. Hi, Pippi. You've already been in the video. Hi, Pippi. Pippi always wants to be the star because he knows he's got a fan base. Pippi, say hi to your fans. Pippi. Thank you guys for sending so much love to Pippi. Pippi. Now maybe you have some little princesses or princes that you want to spoil. Well, this is the Cavi Castle, and this is an epic house, you could call it. It's you put it together. It comes with a ramp. I took the ramp off because I want my girls to have as much running space as possible. Hi, Molly. It's like, don't bother me. I'm eating my hay. But so this is an option. I have a discount code for the Cavi store. It's in the description below. So if you're a new customer, you can check that out. Again, all of these houses are going to be in the description below. There's going to be links for all of those. But I like this house a lot, this castle. It looks really cool. It's easy to put together. It's very durable. They do chew on some of these things, but it's a pretty hard, multi-layered wood, and it's safe for them to chew on, and this thing has lasted quite a while already. So this is the Cavi Castle. Check it out if this is something that you think you might want. I definitely love it. Hi. Hi, Molly. Hi. So far we've been talking about houses of different costs, different prices, different sizes and styles. But what if you want to customize a house and you don't want to spend any money? Well, if you got one of these, you can make any kind of house that you want. So let's do it. Well, this day and age, most people have a box laying around. And if you got a box and some scissors and you got a piggy, you can make a cool house and you don't have to spend any money. And isn't that the way? You could spend money, you could get the most expensive, fanciest house there is, and then you can cut a hole in some cardboard and the piggies go crazy. Leave me a comment if this, if this is something that you've experienced. I think that's just how most animals are. They love the box more than they love the actual thing in the box. So with this one, I just cut one side off of the box and then an extra door. And what's cool is it's easy to modify, so maybe there should be an extra door here. The only thing to consider is if you can remove some of this printed area, maybe that's going to be better for them so that they're not chewing on any kind of ink. But the right on cue. But the beauty of a cardboard box like this is it's inexpensive. In fact, it's probably free. You probably have a bunch laying around, or if you don't, there's probably one on the way. And if they chew it up, if they ruin it, if it gets soiled, it's easy to replace. So here's an even bigger box. And I cut a door out on every side. Come on, boys. Check it out. This house is big enough for both of them, even with these big fluffy butts. What do you think? So I'm just going to leave this in here for now. These guys have gotten along so well. They're going to enjoy this box. I'll let them chew on it, and we'll see. The only drawback to a house that's made out of a cardboard box is a lot of times your piggies will flip it over, and then it'll be laying on its side, and then they'll pee on it, and then it gets really gross. If it gets gross, you just want to toss it, maybe try again. I'm sure you could maybe tape something on the top or do something to weigh it down, but for free, this works just as well. Remember, your piggies are safe in your house. They have everything they need. They get a sense of security from having a house like this, and of course, having a cage mate. So it's not like this is actually providing any actual protection from like a big bad wolf or something like that. I hope not. So it's really just more of a psychological thing, and just something for them to have fun and give them some stimulation. And really, your imagination is the limit. If you have maybe some vegetable dye or animal safe paint, or you've got some non-toxic markers and you want to decorate these, there's infinite ways to do that. So just something to think about. This is a free option, and it works just as good as any of these other houses. You guys are having too much fun in there. What are you guys doing? What's happening? You want to get in on the fun? And I'm just so happy that Gus, at least for the time being, he's got all this space to run. Patches, how quickly can you destroy this house? So there you go. Those are just some of the kinds of houses that I like, that have worked well for me. If there was a house that you have, let me know in the comments. You can put a link to it, or you can just describe it by name. Let me know if there are some houses that you've got experience with that you love, or if maybe there is a type of house that you made. You can put the links in the comments and share your experience. Any of your experiences are going to help us all learn, and it's also just really wonderful to see how we are taking care of our piggies. I also have an entire cage setup playlist where I talk about the different types of cages, things to put into cages. Even there's a video about how to build your own cage, or also where you can get the best CNC cages that I recommend. So I hope you'll check that out. And until next time, thanks for watching.